Are Prot Warriors useless in PvP? Well, I have a ton of artifact power invested in protection, so today let's go over how to PvP as a Prot Warrior. Now, the short answer is you're just going to be providing a lot of utility, and that's really it when it comes to Prot Warriors. They're going to provide a lot of utility, whether that means stuns, interrupts, spell reflects, whatever it is that you can do to help augment the rest of your team, that's what you're going to be doing. Now, before we get into this, let's go over a little disclaimer. This is talking about BGs only. I'm not talking about arenas right now, 2s or 3s or 5s. This is going to be regarding BGs only. Now let's go over the talent points that you should be picking. So for BGs, I still think that we should take Shockwave, Impending Victory. Now for the third talent, I think Avatar is a lot better. And here's why. Someone could snare you, try to take a point away from you while you're snared, do something tricky like that, snare you, get rid of your healer. Now Avatar is going to allow you to get rid of a snare, which is very important. Now the next talent point you could argue for either Bounding Stride or Crackling Thunder. I'm going to go ahead and suggest Bounding Stride here. Crackling Thunder is good just because you're going to get a massive AoE snare, but Bounding Stride is going to get us a stun later on, and we'll go over that in a little bit. And I think that also increasing your run speed is going to be very helpful when trying to catch up to certain things or running the flag. Now for the next talent point, I do think Indomitable is better than the other options. So there's not much there to pick. If you want to pick Never Surrender, you can. However, Ignore Pain is so nerfed in PvP, it's just not really worth it in my opinion. For the next talent point, I really like Booming Voice. Now what I really like about Booming Voice is it gives you rage, enough rage for some Ignore Pains if you really need to play defensively, or for focused rage to start going offensively. Whatever it is you need to do, Booming Voice is going to help you with that. And it also has the added bonus of making people take increased damage to you. Now for the last talent point, I really do like Ravager. Now the reason I really like Ravager is a lot of times when you're talking about King of the Hill scenarios or AB or something like that, you're talking that people are going to try to stun you somewhere far away or snare you and then take the point away from you while you're basically just staring at them, not being able to do anything. Now Ravager is a nice ranged ability basically that you can throw on that capture point. It'll keep doing damage while it's up and not allow people to cap on you. So if you're trying to defend a point and you're in a 2v1 scenario, you can throw a Ravager on the point and then stand on it and defend that point so that you don't have to worry about switching targets and canceling them from capturing the point. Now for PvP talents, this could be argued a little bit for some of them. However, for the first one, I do like Relentless. It overall just gives you something passive. It's going to get rid of a lot of stuff for you. Now for the second talent point, I find that Oppressor works really well. I mean, I already have Taunt on my bars for PvE. I'm very used to using Taunt. Now by using it in PvP, I increase the damage they take by 20%. I mean, if someone is trying to run away, I could even use it at a distance and have them take increased damage from everyone else. To me, this talent point is just by far the best. Now the next talent point is something that could be argued a little bit. I like Mass Spell Reflection. It helps out in scenarios like AV or War Song, just in any BGs where people really combine together. Mass Spell Reflection increases in utility in those scenarios. Now Bodyguard could be good. Bodyguard has its uses if you're trying to protect the flag carrier, if you're trying to peel off of a healer. However, I think in most of those scenarios, you would probably be the flag carrier. And as far as peeling off of the healer, I think stuns and snares are also going to help out a lot more than Bodyguard. But those are the two talent points I definitely look at, although I suggest Mass Spell Reflect a little bit more. For the next talent point, I do like Rage Machine. This is personal preference just because of the way that I like to play Battlegrounds. Normally when I'm playing Battleground as Prot, I'm trying to hold something down by myself. So all of that extra rage will help out a lot. However, Ready for Battle can help out too. So if you start seeing that people are focusing you a little bit less, targeting you a little bit less, and going after other people, Ready for Battle could really help out there. But I do find Rage Machine to be a lot better when it comes to my playstyle and open BGs. Now the next talent point, I really like Morale Killer. This basically reduces my demo shout to 1 minute, and it makes it so that everybody doesn't hit as hard against my team, which is great. Now, Shield Bash, I do find a very interesting talent point. I do think it has its uses. If you ever feel like you can't burst down a healer, if you ever feel like you need that extra little niche burst, I do suggest going Shield Bash. However, Morale Killer is going to help keep your healers alive, it's going to help keep your flag carrier alive, it's going to help keep you alive, and on a 1 minute cooldown, you could be using it a lot. I mean, as often as Battle Cry, we know that that is up very often. Shield Bash, I think, might have more of a place in Arena, trying to catch people off with some bursts, but Morale Killer, I think, definitely. I mean, when you think about AV, you could be protecting 20 people in one battle. The last talent point, I don't think there's a wrong choice in it. I do like Thunderstruck at the moment for the 1 second snare. However, Warpath has some combinations with Bounding Stride, being able to stun people for 3 seconds. That's amazing. However, the AoE on it is not that great, and we do know that pathing for Heroic Leap can be tricky sometimes. So Warpath kind of falls a little bit short for me, and Dragon Charge seems to be something that calls my name a little bit more. Now, the reason for this is, again, the gameplay you're going to be doing more of a defensive and utility standpoint. Dragon Charge is going to interrupt spell casting, and it's going to knock people back, and you don't need a target to do it. In a scenario where you're in Arathi Basin, you're in Lumbermill, you're snared, someone is trying to cap Lumbermill from you, Dragon Charge to them, you have a chance of knocking them off the cliff. It basically gives you another scenario where if you're caught with no more intercept charges or heroic leap charges, Dragon Charge is going to give you that extra little bit of mobility and utility at the same time. I really do think that Dragon Charge is a lot better than Thunderstruck and Warpath. Now, as far as what we should be focusing on in Battlegrounds, we should be focusing on snares, interrupts, stuns, and just being an overall nuisance and distraction. So what this means is keep Thunderclap handy, keep Pummel handy, keep Spell Reflect handy, Shockwave, anything to really keep the healers busy. I do think that our priority needs to be on healers or on spellcasters, just because if they're sitting in the back and no one is pressuring them, they can basically do a lot. And as Prot, we don't have the best mobility in the game. However, we do have a lot of really good mobility, so we can keep pressure going and not let people free cast. When you're PvPing as Prot, you need to keep in mind the fact that you're there for the whole team. You're not there for you. In a 1v1 scenario, sure, most of the times you can actually solo people, and that's just because of how tanky you are, because of impending victory. However, when you're in team fights, you have to be there for the rest of the team. What this means is that you have to start focusing on healers, and you need to start spell reflecting for the team and not for yourself. Thunderclap needs to have as close to 100% uptime as possible, regardless of if it interrupts you DPSing with Shield Slam or not. Now, as far as stat priority for PvP, it is very tricky to say. However, in a typical PvP scenario, most people are going to stand on your side or behind you. No one is just going to stand in front of you and DPS you that way. People are going to try to juke you, go behind you. So I do think mastery falls off a lot, just because blocking in PvP is very uncertain. Also because people are going to be stunning you, it's just not as reliable as, say, crit or versatility. So as far as stats go, I do think crit is very good to be able to burst. However, for open BGs and for the amount of utility you do want to provide, I think haste and versatility are going to edge out. Now, if we were talking about arena, I do think stat priorities are going to be a little bit different. But as far as open BGs, I do think that haste and versatility are going to be a lot better. Now, as far as roles go for BGs, I do think that we are limited to being the flag carrier. We're limited to being the one person who's left behind at a node to defend it. And the reason why we're a lot more defensive is just because of our big health pool and our mitigation abilities. Now, as someone who's defending one node, I think it's very important to note that we are very good at that. We can hold something off for a lot longer than other classes can. As long as you're keeping communication with your team and letting them know to come back you up when they need to, one tank defending one node is a very good idea. So overall, is PvP on a Prot Warrior looking amazing? Absolutely not. However, we're still very good and bring a lot to the table. We're not as good in PvP as we are at PvE, but I do think that you can definitely get away with doing BGs, even RBGs as Prot PvP, as long as you know our limitations. We're not damage or burst focused. We're a lot more about utility and being there for the team and helping everybody survive and helping slowly churn every battle in our favor. Now I hope you enjoyed this guide. If you have, let me know, give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully we find each other in a battleground. Good luck everyone.